everyone, my name's Courtney. I'm the lead keeper in Asian Highlands. So today we're going to be starting a new series called Abnormally Normal. It is definitely an abnormal time in the world, but we're still carrying on like normal at Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. So we're still doing all of our regular enrichment and training with the animals, making sure they're healthy and happy while we're closed. We do miss everybody, however, so make sure you follow along on social media. We're going to be doing some really fun different keeper talks and different activities for you all to check out. So I'm going to get started with that today with a keeper talk on Savelii, our new female Amur tiger. Definitely ask any questions if you have them in the comments, and we'll try to answer as many of them as possible. So getting to Savelii. Savelii is our female Amur tiger. She is somewhere behind me. This is an extreme version of Where's Waldo right now. This is the tiger exhibit. And Savelii really loves to hide. She really likes to use those natural skills of stalking her prey or stalking sometimes her keepers when she wants to play with us. She'll hide behind a rock or hide behind a tree, and she uses those stripes as really excellent camouflage. She can creep up and then she'll just jump out, run over, and she usually greets us with a big happy chuff. Savelii is kind of fun because she makes some very interesting noises as well. So she, along with the chuffs, makes all sorts of different moans and groans that are very unique to her. Hopefully we'll get to hear some of those today if Miss Savelii decides to come down here. So Savelii is showing us all her exhibit and how it's really set up quite a bit like what she would naturally encounter in the wild. She is an Amur tiger. They used to be called Siberian tigers. However, they don't live in Siberia anymore, so the name got changed. They're found along the Amur River region in Russia. They've got lots of forests and hills and mountains there. So similar kind of terrain to what we've got here in the tiger exhibit. There are also quite a bit of similarities with the temperature and the weather. So the tigers love the snow, but they also love to hang out in their pool in the summertime. What we're going to be doing with Savelii next is a little bit of training with her. So we're going to head over this direction and get a little bit closer to Savelii. Hopefully she'll get a little bit closer to us as well. Now Savelii, you can tell her apart from her male Chewy. She is smaller by about 100 pounds, so she is itty bitty compared to him. And then she also has one single freckle kind of in the middle of her nose. It can be a little bit difficult to see. And then right on her forehead, she has what looks to me like a little sparrow outline with the wings outstretched and a little tail. So that's a great way to tell her apart as well. When I say she's about 100 pounds lighter, she weighs about 260 pounds and Chewy weighs about 350. So a bit of a difference there. All right, now Allison is our tiger trainer for the day. So what she's going to be working on with Savelii is what we call husbandry behaviors. And these are things that help us take care of the animals and help them participate in their health care. Makes everything a little bit less stressful for all parties involved. So what Savelii is working on is a couple of different body presentations, like standing up, showing us the bottoms of her paw pads, and also opening her mouth. She's kind of working on a new injection behavior where she lines up against the fence. I'm not sure if we'll see that one today, but Savelii has really learned a lot since she first moved here. She just got here in November, and she traveled all the way from South Dakota. She had an uneventful trip, which was really nice. She did a great job during her transport and got here and started interacting with keepers and training with us right away. So she's learned a couple of new behaviors. She stands on a really big scale so that we can keep track of her weight and how she's doing with that. And then what we're really proud of is that Savelii has learned a new blood draw behavior. So you might wonder how we draw blood on a tiger. We never go in with these guys. There's always a fence separating us. And so for Savelii, what that looks like is we have her kind of stationed in our little hallway that's inside of our building, and there's a port that actually has a spot where her tail can swing out. So it's all voluntary. She can get up and walk away if she wants to, but she does really love the treat that she gets. She loves chicken. She loves the meatballs that she's getting. She also quite enjoys whipped cream. That's like the best treat ever. So she got a bit of that for training with the blood draw, and she's had a successful one so far and done really fantastic with that. All right, so you can see Allison working through this new behavior with her. So it's kind of interesting to see when we're working on a new behavior how we go about training that. And for Savelii, what that looks like is eventually she'll come up to this fence, lean against it, and she'll actually just lean her whole body into the fence so that we can safely give her an injection if she needs a booster shot of anything. But right now she's just working on duration and kind of holding still for long periods of time, and she's doing fantastic with that. I also have been noticing as Savelii is over here right now that she is an absolute muddy mess at the moment. So we are currently inside of a cloud at Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. It's been lingering for a couple of days, which makes it really beautiful up here. We're going to be sending some videos out, so if you want to kind of see what it's like up here, you can check that out as well. But Savelii has enjoyed that a lot. We've had a lot of snow melting, we've had a lot of mud happening, and today we've been taking advantage of the little bit of extra time we have, and we've been collecting mud from around the zoo from different animal areas and giving it to different creatures. So the mountain lions got some mud from the moose. They look just about as muddy as Savelii does right now. Quite a bit of fun is happening up here with all of the mud and excitement.
Why do they like mud from different animal areas?
They love anything that smells different. So if there's a smell that we think smells really disgusting, chances are they're going to love it. Otters, I mean, everybody thinks they're cute. I'm sorry to burst any bubbles right now. Otters actually smell really gross. So all of the animals love to roll in stinky otter hay. Basically, it's this thing called scent masking, where especially predators, they're going to want to try to mask that natural odor that they have, and that helps them sneak up on their prey a little bit easier. So you guys saw Savelii earlier when she was hiding behind a rock out in the yard. She came running down, and if the wind had been coming our direction, we might have smelled her coming, but if she had been able to disguise that smell, would have helped her out in her hunting just a little bit. Got quite the drool going on right now. She really gets excited for training. She loves people, so that's a little moan that she just did there. She likes to rub her face up against the fence and against anything that's near her keepers. If anybody's got a cat at home, you might see similar behavior when they're rubbing their face on your legs or on the furniture. Basically, they're just saying, this human belongs to me, nobody steal them. So it's a kind of territorial thing. They've got a little scent gland in their cheek there that helps make sure that everything smells just like them. Now you'll notice that Savelii is the only tiger out here, so she does have a lot to do today as far as scent marking everything in the exhibit. She'll go around and she'll rub her cheeks on all of the trees, on the fence line, and she'll probably pee on a few things too. That's all because she shares this space with Chewbacca, our male tiger, so he's currently in a different space while she's out here. They are solitary animals, but when they swap spaces, that's one of the first things they do is they go around and they make sure everything smells like them. They see what the other tiger has left behind, and they have a great time with that.
We've got a couple of questions.
Oh, good. Let's hear them.
They heard that tigers don't roar. Is that true?
Tigers do roar. They do not purr, though. So these guys can't purr. They do the chuffing noise kind of as an alternative, but they do roar. They do kind of a long call as well. They have a lot of different vocalizations. So the noises we hear from our tigers are usually the chuffs and the moans and the groans that are the greeting noises. And then we also hear some long calls sometimes, which is really cool and really exciting. It's basically the tigers communicating with each other, and that's behavior that we want to see from them. Since they are meant to be a breeding pair, and hopefully they'll meet each other and become fast friends, and the tiger magic will happen. Hopefully there will be tiger cubs in our future.
Another question is, how old is she?
So Savelii is 8 years old. She'll be 9 this September. And then Chewbacca, our other tiger, he's going to be 5 in April. So he's a little bit younger than she is.
And someone was asking why they're called Amur tigers.
So these guys are called Amur tigers. Not many people have heard of Amur tigers. Usually when I ask if people have heard of them, I don't get many hands raised. But when I ask if people have heard of Siberian tigers, everybody raises their hand. So these guys used to live in Siberia. That was their native range. But they no longer live there. Their prey has kind of moved to other places. So they've gone onto the Amur River region in Russia is now where they're from. So some of the things that they have to worry about in the wild are things like logging, those kind of things, add roads that give access to people that maybe don't have the best intent. So that's definitely a concern for tigers in the wild. Savelii is hanging out. She's found the mud puddle, it looks like. She might go hang out in that mud puddle again. She really enjoys watching people on the sky ride, so I'm sure she'll be very excited when all of the folks come back to the zoo and ride the sky ride. So that's a fun tip if you're ever up there and you're specifically on your way down from the top of the sky ride. Look down to your left-hand side and you might see Savelii watching you. She also really enjoys watching the palace cats every once in a while.
One more question. How old are they usually when they have cubs?
That's a good question. So Amur tigers can start breeding really as early as probably around 3 or 4, but they don't really hit maturity until they're 5 years old. So Chewy could keep growing even for the next couple of months, and once he hits 5, he'll be done growing. But usually around that 5-year mark is where they're considered an adult cat. They'll stay with mom and dad, or sorry, with mom. They don't live with dad at all. They'll stay with mom until they're about 2 years old, and then they'll disperse off on their own, kind of try to find their own territory and find their own mates. And then by the time they're, around 4 or 5, they're hopefully ready to meet a mate and contribute to the wild population.
Do they prefer certain climates?
Amur tigers are the ones that really live in the coldest climates for tigers. So if you look at Savelii, I don't know if you can see her face, but she's got this amazing ruff of fur around her face, and Chewy's is even bigger. But that's a great way to tell an Amur tiger apart, is just how thick and dense their fur is. So they really do well in the cold weather. They're able to navigate through the snow really well, and they just kind of prefer the cold temperatures to the hot. All right, guys. I think we've answered all the questions for now, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all so much for meeting Savelii today through our Abnormally Normal series, and keep tuning in, keep looking for updates from the zoo, and we'll see you all in a couple of weeks.